What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are all having a great day. I know I am. My name's Anthony. On today's video, I'm going to talk all about one of the most medicinal, tasty mushrooms that you could possibly find, and I finally found one so I can do this video. Today we're talking about the lion's mane. That's right, today we're going to be talking all about the lion's mane, or the Hericium erinaceus mushroom. Now, whenever you're talking about foraging for mushrooms, I know a lot of people get scared because they're, can be very dangerous. Some of them are actually deadly, even if you have just one. But I can tell you right now, this variety, it's one of those you can't really mistake, okay? It's very obvious in how it looks. It grows on a tree, so it doesn't come from the ground, and there's very few lookalikes, and the lookalikes are edible. So it's not a very hard one to mistake. And you're gonna find a lot of these starting to pop up in products that you can buy, and you're gonna find them at farmers markets, things like that, because people are actually starting to grow these via mushroom farms. I am super duper excited to finally find one in the wild, because every time I try to find one in the wild, it's usually about 50 or 60 feet up in the air, just like this clip right here. Check out this heartbreaker. Lion's mane. Finally, the mushroom gods had smiled on me today, and it gave me an opportunity to find this mushroom as I was driving by. And I was able to go and actually talk to the homeowner, or the property owner, because they were right there, and asked them if I could go harvest this mushroom. They're like, absolutely, why not? They're not going to use it. They don't deal with wild mushrooms like I do. They just kind of looked at me kind of funny, like, really, you want to do that? I'm like, absolutely. So I was able to harvest this mushroom, and we are going to make a whole bunch of food out of it because it's about 7.5 pounds. So here's some footage of me harvesting it. But look at that. That is a lion's mane mushroom. Gorgeous specimen. Look how big it is. That's the size of my hand. The thing is giant. So we are going to harvest that one because I'm going to enjoy eating this guy. Had to bring the big chopper out to cut this one down. So alright, I gotta catch it. Look at the freaking size of this thing. This thing is gigantic. A little bit of bad spots, but not too much. This has got to be at least 6-7 pounds. Now, this mushroom is extremely important for two main reasons. Number one, it's extremely medicinal, but it is also filling, satiating, okay? It is a humongous mushroom. This one is 7.5 pounds that I found, and they routinely grow to several pounds worth when you find them. So it is a good meal, 2 meals, maybe even 3 meals, along with making medicine. So it's one of those really good mushrooms that's multi-purposed. Now, on the medicinal side, not only does it have a whole bunch of antioxidants, which are going to help your body against oxidative stress, but they're actually doing quite a bit of research nowadays because it's considered what's called a brain mushroom. Okay, they've been using this for several hundred years in Asia as a way to clear the brain fog or add mental clarity, but they've actually had some promising research in the last few years to show that maybe this mushroom can help stop neuron death or brain cell death, okay, which is going to be extremely important for some diseases that actually affect the brain and motor functions like Parkinson's or even Alzheimer's. So if we can use this mushroom, get a compound out that actually helps stop or maybe even reverse issues like that, like Alzheimer's, then that is going to be a humongous breakthrough in everything. So this mushroom has the potential to maybe even help reverse things like Alzheimer's. Again, nothing is definitive yet. We haven't had full-on studies yet. We're still ongoing, okay? They can't just do this over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It has to take years to see if there's any kind of improvement over a placebo, but it's looking promising, and I hope that we are going to start seeing more and more come out about this mushroom, and more people are going to start farming it because it can be harvested in a farming style system. If you're out foraging like me, the one thing you're going to want to do whenever you're looking for these is you're going to want to look up, okay? A lot of times when I'm foraging for mushroom, I'm constantly looking down around because a lot of the mushrooms are growing on the ground. They're growing from the ground itself, from the root system mycorrhizal fungi, or even on deadfall. But this is one of the very few mushrooms that actually grows parasitically on the wood. So you most likely are going to have standing trees with this growing somewhere. The good thing is it's like snow white. So if everything else is like this, multicolors from the being fall, because it's usually late summer, early winter kind of mushroom. You're going to see a lot of the leaves changing, and you're going to be looking at the leaves anyway. But if you look up on a tree trunk and you see a giant white thing, almost like a balloon, it's like a highlighter that says, hey, come check me out. And that's what this was. All right, to help you identify this one, look at the outside. It's going to look like little teeth. All right, it's called a tooth fungi because they hang down almost like little icicles. They're about 2 inches long, and they're going to be white. The more brown it is, the older it is. So you want to try to get it as white as possible. Okay, it almost looks like white grass. This is going to hang down with gravity, and the interior is white as well. Since I've been waiting literally years to use this mushroom, one that I've actually found myself, not one that I've had to buy, but one that I have found myself, I want to be making a whole bunch of different things to show you the versatility of this mushroom. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I use it. Not only am I going to cook it like you would if you're making a meal, but I'm going to show you how to make medicine from it in the, aspect of you can use this to help your brain fight against things like brain fog and also help relieve oxidative stress in your body. So with all that being said, we're going to go rush into the kitchen, and I want to show you exactly what I'm doing with this one. All right, so now it's time to attack this monstrosity. Try to find a way to make it so I can dehydrate a decent amount for medicine, because we're going to go ahead and do that first. So I'm basically going to be cutting off the side, and all you're going to want to do is inspect. As you see, it gets kind of buggy, and you don't want to make sure that you are going to want to make sure that when you're doing your inspections, you're not finding any bugs or really, really dark brown spots. Okay, your dark brown spots are basically rot. You don't want to eat that part. It's going to be kind of nasty. So as you see here, when I cut into it, this top section, you see how it's got a lot of brown? Well, you can save some of that, but right there, that blackness is where it's attached to the tree. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and cut off that piece. And the lighter brown's kind of whatever, it's a little iffy, but I'm going to try to use as much of this mushroom as I can. That'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and dehydrate that. And when we cut steaks off, that's what we're looking for. Something just like this, nice and flat, so we can actually cook with. But the rest of the stuff we're going to put in here for the dehydrator. And for me personally, I like to dehydrate mushrooms at about 6 to 8 hours at 130 degrees. That's what I've had my most success with. All right, to really appreciate the flavor of a mushroom, basic saute is going to be the best thing you can do. So all I do is just get a whole bunch of butter and I put it into a pan, all right, saute pan. I'm going to saute a steak about 3/4 to an inch thick, and it's the lion's mane steak. Put it down for about 7 minutes per side. You want to do it lower and slower, lower temperature because you're not burning that butter. I don't really like the taste of burnt butter, so a lower temperature for a little bit longer. Make sure you're cooking that mushroom all the way through, because you got to cook your mushrooms, and you can really tell the flavor of the mushroom without having it overpowered by something else. Here we go. That's what she looks like. See, the teeth are still there. As with any mushroom, you want to make sure you're cooking it thoroughly, okay? This didn't take like 2 minutes. It took like 15, okay? 7, and flip it back over for a minute just to make sure that it's cooked. If you don't cook these enough, or any mushroom enough, most mushrooms, you can get gastrointestinal upset or diarrhea or something like that. Even though the mushroom's completely edible, you got to cook them. So make sure you all understand that. Let's go ahead and give this one a try. All I did was use a whole bunch of butter, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So that looks good. Wow. It's got like the consistency of crab meat or lobster meat. It tastes like chicken, like dark meat chicken. Keep in mind, I've only had lion's mane in powdered form or supplemented into something. I haven't had it like this, so. Wow. That's good. Now talking nutritional facts, lion's mane as per the USDA, 100 grams of lion's mane is about 35 calories. It's a lot of water in there, but it does have 2.5 grams of protein and 7 to 8 grams of carbohydrates that your body's going to need, but it definitely makes up for it in minerals, very high in things like magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, so now onto the medicinal side of things. These mushrooms were drying for about 9 hours at 130. They are now to the point where they are dry enough to grind down into a powder. I just use a regular Ninja. You can use a mortar pestle. You can use whatever you want to, but this is what works for me. And I just whir it up until it gets to the point where they're nice and powdery. Now, this takes a little while, but it's okay. And when you're done, you can go to the point where you can strain it like I do and get the fine particles and then keep spinning the thicker particles, or you can just use it as is. It's really not that bad. And that's what it looks like when you're done. Now I'm going to make capsules. I use this size double aught, and they're made of beef gelatin and water. So if you're, a vegan or a vegetarian, you can always get a vegan option. But this is what I use. This machine right here is called the Capsule It from Herbafair. I'll go ahead and link down below in the description so you can find it. I also did a video on it. I'll link that one down below and also in that top right corner. But all I'm doing is just trying to fill up all the capsules with this lion's mane powder, because this is how I prefer to take my mushroom medicine. Instead of doing a lot of, if they're edible, I'll just do it in a capsule form versus a tincture. And see, super duper easy. That's 100 capsules right there. And this batch itself made 200 capsules. And I still got some more dried ones that I'm going to whir up. But definitely if I take one a day, I'll be good for 200 days with just this one. Now, one thing I have to make sure that I mention in this video so I don't get in trouble by the people out there or whoever else that wants to try to keep reporting my videos, I have to make sure that I mention I'm not a doctor, I'm not your doctor, this is not medical advice, okay? This is just some guy on YouTube telling you about something that I found, and I hope you're interested enough to go do your own research. And if you are into foraging mushrooms or you want to start foraging mushrooms, I highly suggest getting some field guides so you know exactly what you're doing, okay? These are the two that I really like if you live in the Southeast, mushrooms of the Southeast, but you also have this one right here. It's the Simon & Schuster's Guide to Mushrooms, okay? It's going to give you a whole bunch of descriptions and pictures on what mushrooms look like, where they grow from, the time of year you're going to get, all the colors. That way you can find mushrooms safely and know that if you're getting a poisonous one or one that just looks like it might be poisonous, or actually a choice mushroom. Lion's mane is considered a choice mushroom, so that's why I'm so excited to bring it to y'all on my channel. Now, if you want to do any more reading about the medicinal side of the lion's mane mushroom, I suggest you check out books like this. This is called Southeast Medicinal Plants by Corey Pine Shane. I believe there's other areas of the country he also writes for. Correct me if I'm wrong, but since I live in the Southeast, that's why I have this one. And he goes into the fact of lion's mane and the ways that you can prepare it. For me personally, as you saw, I like to do the powdered method because I put it into a capsule and I get everything. But there's also a double extraction or a dual extraction method to where you're making it as a tincture. We're using alcohol for one side and then water for the other side to get all the good polysaccharides and stuff that is in that mushroom into the liquid. That way you can take it under the tongue like a tincture. So it's all about personal preference. For me personally, I think it's easier and more cost effective to just dehydrate and capsulize it, but that's just me. So if you learned anything at all from this video, please do me a humongous favor and give this one a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you are not, and I'll catch y'all later, okay?